It's easy to think of the UFO story as a modern phenomenon, something that kicked off with flying saucers in the 1940s and the Roswell incident. But the truth is, America's obsession with strange things in the sky goes back much further. Long before the first airplane ever took flight, before the Wright brothers even dreamed of Kitty Hawk, thousands of Americans looked up and saw something impossible. The story begins not with a bang, but with a strange, flickering light. The place was Sacramento, California. The date was November 17th, 1896. As evening settled over the city, people began to notice it. A brilliant, moving light, high in the heavens, traveling against the wind. It wasn't a star, and it wasn't a balloon. It was something else entirely. The next day, the Sacramento Bee newspaper ran a story that would ignite a national mystery. Witnesses described a dark, cigar-shaped body, propelled by what looked like giant wings or fans. It had a bright, powerful searchlight mounted on its front, which it used to scan the ground below. Some people even claimed they could hear voices coming from the craft, singing and laughing. Please take a second to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you like this type of historical information. I have videos about a lot of different subjects on there. Think about the context here. This was 1896. The world was lit by gas lamps and powered by steam. The idea of a steerable, powered airship, a dirigible, was the absolute cutting edge of science fiction. Something you'd read about in a Jules Verne novel. And yet, here it was, apparently cruising over the capital of California. This wasn't just a fleeting glimpse. The object was reportedly seen for a significant amount of time, allowing for multiple viewpoints to emerge. One witness, a man named R.L. Lowry, gave a detailed account. He described the craft as being shaped like an egg and estimated it was moving at about 30 miles per hour. He claimed he could clearly hear voices from the craft discussing their altitude and direction. Just days after the Sacramento event, the mysterious airship appeared over San Francisco and the wider Bay Area. On November 22nd, the San Francisco Call reported thousands of people witnessing a similar craft. The details were consistent: the cigar shape, the brilliant searchlight, the slow, deliberate movement. Newspapers up and down California plastered the airship on their front pages. Each new article added another layer to the growing legend. It was a media frenzy, 19th century style. The phenomenon wasn't confined to California for long. As 1896 drew to a close and 1897 began, the sightings began to migrate. Reports trickled in from the Pacific Northwest, then jumped to the vast, open spaces of the Midwest, Nebraska, Kansas, Iowa, Missouri. The airship wasn't just over cities. It was now seen over remote farms and small, isolated towns, terrifying livestock and baffling hardworking people. The spread was fueled by the telegraph and by the national press. A small-town Kansas account could be printed in New York the next day. This rapid dissemination created a shared national experience. An Omaha Bee article in March 1897 described the airship over the city, with witnesses saying they could see a framework and flashing red and green lights. When you dig into the witness reports from dozens of newspapers, a surprisingly consistent picture begins to form. Large, dark, cigar-shaped. But what was it really? Theories abounded, each more fascinating than the last. Some described the craft as 50 to 200 feet long, with a superstructure beneath the hull. Nearly every credible report mentioned lights, a single brilliant white searchlight on the front, smaller colored lights on the sides. For propulsion, witnesses saw large flapping wings, spinning propellers, and giant fan-like wheels. But as the sighting spread, so did speculation about their true nature. One of the most popular explanations was the hoax theory. Newspapers of the era were notorious for sensational stories, and pranksters delighted in fooling the public. Some believed clever locals launched hot air balloons with lanterns or staged elaborate stunts to create a spectacle. Others argued that the airships were simply misidentified natural or man-made objects. In an age before airplanes, even a weather balloon or a flock of birds could spark wild rumors. Atmospheric phenomena, like Venus shining bright or strange cloud formations, were often mistaken for something extraordinary. Lanterns drifting on the wind, experimental kites, or even reflections from searchlights could all have played a part in the confusion. The line between the ordinary and the extraordinary was easily blurred in the flickering gaslight of the 1890s. Yet, for many, the most compelling idea was the secret inventor hypothesis. The late 19th century was an age of invention. Edison, Tesla, and countless tinkerers were pushing the boundaries of science. Some believed a lone genius, backed by wealthy investors, was testing a revolutionary airship in secret. San Francisco attorney George D. Collins even claimed to represent such an inventor, describing a craft built for $100,000 and capable of 150 miles per hour. But no inventor ever came forward, no patents matched, and no hidden workshop was found. Some stories took a stranger turn. In April 1897, former Arkansas State Senator Alexander Hamilton signed an affidavit claiming the airship landed on his property. In Aurora, Texas, the local paper claimed the airship crashed into a windmill, with the pilot described as not of this world, a Martian. The extraterrestrial theory captured imaginations. With Mars in the headlines thanks to Percival Lowell's canal maps, some believed the airship was a visitor from another planet. Vintage science fiction art and wild newspaper headlines fueled the idea that we were not alone. Other witnesses reported practical encounters, airship pilots needing supplies, offering payment, even dragging railroad ties with dangling ropes. But for every fantastic claim, there were skeptics who saw a different explanation. Some psychologists and journalists suggested the entire episode was a case of mass hysteria. The late 19th century was a time of rapid change and uncertainty. Newspapers spread stories quickly, and the excitement was contagious. People looked up, saw what they expected or hoped to see. The airship mystery became a feedback loop. Real sightings generated news, inspiring hoaxes, which in turn generated more news. It was classic mass hysteria, fueled by the power of the press and the imagination of a nation. The most popular theory was that the airship was the work of a lone, brilliant inventor, someone like Edison or Tesla. The thinking was that some secretive genius, backed by wealthy investors, was testing his creation in secret. San Francisco attorney George D. Collins claimed to represent an inventor, giving detailed descriptions, built for $100,000, capable of 150 miles per hour. Ultimately, the inventor theory falls apart. No such inventor came forward, no matching patents existed, no workshop was found. Many believed the affair was elaborate hoaxes. Pranksters launching hot air balloons with lanterns, newspaper reporters seeking sensational stories. This created a feedback loop of real sightings generating news, inspiring hoaxes, generating more news, classic mass hysteria. For a small but vocal minority, the airship was from another planet, Mars, popularized by astronomer Percival Lowell's famous canal maps. The airship was so technologically advanced that a visitor from Mars seemed more plausible than a secret inventor from Omaha. When you place the 1896 to 97 airship wave alongside the modern UFO phenomenon, the parallels are startling. Both waves started on the West Coast, moved east, and were fueled by intense media attention. The airship's searchlight and colored navigation lights became standard features of flying saucer sightings decades later. The differences reveal how we interpret the unknown through our era's technology. Dirigibles in the 1890s, jet-age saucers in the 1950s. The great airship wave eventually faded away mysteriously, but its impact on the American imagination was permanent. It was the first time the entire nation shared in a mystery of this kind, a collective looking up that bonded people through wonder. It created a narrative template that prepared the ground for Kenneth Arnold's 1947 flying saucer sighting, a story waiting 50 years to continue. The airship influenced early science fiction and even L. Frank Baum's famous Wizard of Oz balloon, blurring lines between fiction and front-page news. After sifting through the evidence, we are left where those people stood in 1897, staring at a profound mystery. Was it mass delusion, mundane objects misidentified, or perhaps a forgotten inventor who disappeared from history? Could it have been something not of this world? When logical explanations fail, the mind wanders to the illogical. The 1897 airship mystery isn't something to be solved. It's an invitation to wonder, to question our assumptions, and to never lose our sense of wonder. Because as this incredible story proves, sometimes the greatest adventures begin when you simply ask, what is that up there? Thanks for watching and for supporting my channel. Please subscribe if you haven't already. And as always, stay informed.